Afternoon everyone, today we're not going to learn about playing guitar, we're going to learn about recording it. It just so happens that in the studio for my own stuff, I very seldom use an amplifier. I do it all through DI box and interface, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. Very occasionally I get a request from someone wanting to know how I achieve certain sounds, and I'm going to address that. We're going to go through what gets plugged into where and why and how many times, and then I'm going to show you some of the software and plugins and stuff that I use. So, here we go. So this is the normal way of doing things. So you see, a jack cable goes from the guitar into the amplifier, your hefty Marshall stack or whatever, then you've got a microphone. Yes, that is a microphone, don't laugh at it. And that has an XLR cable which goes into an interface, into a computer, and there you are, music. Brilliant. But we don't want to know about that. We want to know how to do this without an amplifier. And this is the setup that you would use to do that. So your guitar, instead of going into an amplifier, this time goes into what's called a DI box, a direct injection or direct input box, whichever you want to call it. Now you just plug your unbalanced jack lead, which is coming out of your guitar, into the input of the DI box, and the output, which is going into your interface and ultimately into your computer software, that will be a balanced XLR lead, like a microphone lead. An advantage of this is that if you want to know what's going on if you were plugged into an amp, you can plug your amp into it. There's a through jack, you just plug it in and that just goes into your amp as normal. There's different kind of DI boxes that'll have different ins and outs, but my one just has these three jacks and is the absolute gist of it, no silly nonsense. Now an advantage of this is that once you record a guitar tone, you're not stuck with one guitar tone. In fact, if you use the guitar tone that you get from recording a DI box, it will be horrible and it will basically sound like a banjo, which is a bad thing because you're not a banjo player. There's a whole load of software you can just put over the top of what it is you've recorded, and if you know what you're doing with software, then you can get some really kick-ass sounds. I use this precise setup and have all the amps entirely software added after the fact for quite a lot of things. The clean stuff in Killing Me Softly is an example, some of the Ronnie Diz stuff as well, and odds and ends of session stuff and covers I do as well. Especially good I find with clean stuff because you get just a little bit more twang. There is an alternative to the DI box. You can get an interface unit which comes with a built-in DI box basically, and those are called instrument inputs. And these interfaces are connected to your computer by USB, or if you want something a little faster, sleeker, and can record up to, I don't know, 8 things at once, a FireWire connection to your computer. I have one of these, the PreSonus Fire Studio Project. It's a really nifty piece of gear and it's pretty inexpensive as well, and a needless plug. So you can pretty much just plug it in straight from your guitar, and you don't really have to worry about anything else. And on the back there's all sorts of ins and out jacks as well, so I'm sure there's a way to configure it because you get software with it as well. I'm sure there's a way to configure it so you can have it hooked up to an amplifier as well, so you can hear it in the room. I just happen to not do that. And I'm pretty sure that any other audio interface is going to have very similar ins and outs if it has an instrument in. So now I'll walk you through some of the software that's available. So I'm in Native Instruments Guitar Rig 5. Now I got this with the Elements package, which is significantly cheaper than anything Native Instruments do. Highly recommend this. And the presets are a lot of fun to play with. All I'm doing is recording straight into my DAW through the PreSonus, as I just discussed. And I'm just going to go through a couple of presets. I wonder if this first one could possibly be AC/DC. Yep, that was AC/DC. Brilliant. So I guess this one is the lead guitar that goes with it. Yep, Angusy, that is nice. Quite accurate, these as well. What's another preset here? Rotating. This looks a bit psychedelic. Yeah, again, it's nice. Now take a look at another piece of software. This is the Line 6 pod. This software comes free with an interface that they make, which is great if you want an interface. Let's pull up a preset. Yeah, again, a good one. I happen to find the Line 6 to be just a bit easier to use because you've got the gate option as well, and you can also position the well, not actual microphones, but you can have the same sort of effect as positioning a microphone would. So you can see you can choose between different microphones. And whereabouts in the room they go, which is really cool. And you've got no end of effects to go in as well, in addition to what you have in your DAW inserts anyway. I'll show you this one actually. This is my go-to modern rock lead. As you can see, you can go into unnecessary depth with effects and stuff if you really need to, which I have. So this is my DAW. I use Cubase pretty religiously. All I've got in terms of plugins and effects and stuff is just a little bit of gate. This helps get rid of some of the background noise, and that's great for the really heavy distorted stuff because you get a lot of background noise that you just don't want. And after that, I pretty much treat it as I would a mic'd up guitar amp. Just use like limiters, maximizers, EQ, whatever you feel like using, and then reverb, modulation, delay, again, whatever you want. So that's that. I hope you've learned, well, I hope you've learned how to record guitars without needing an amplifier. If there's anything I haven't covered or anything you'd like to specifically know, please leave a comment on the YouTube channel or send me a PM if you really want. And for the love of God, please subscribe. I need this. Yeah, goodbye.